Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Heidi. I am a beauty professional licensed in the state of Florida and hopefully soon the state of Georgia. If you have been following me for a while, you can see that I've been going through a lot of life changes, and this channel was originally based on like my business as an esthetician and cosmetologist. And I started this channel to give you knowledge that you can use for yourself as a professional or even someone at home, just to help you with your skin. I do have my own fair share of skin problems, and I love treating it and trying new things, and it has come a long way. So I just want to share my knowledge with you. Thank you for tuning into this video. This video is a follow-up on the first microneedling video I did, which did really well, surprisingly. I don't think it was long enough or had enough information in there for you to really make the best judgment for yourself. It was a little bit more geared towards like the professional if you have some basic knowledge. I was getting a lot of comments and questions about the actual procedure. I want to make sure that I clarify the information so that you're not abusing your skin at home. First and foremost, what is microneedling? Microneedling is collagen induction therapy. It can range from different types of microneedling, from nanoneedling to a 12 needle to a 36 needle. And this is just to cause micro injuries to the skin. When you cause micro injuries to the skin, the theory behind it is that it causes your skin to go into a collagen production mode. It also helps to kind of correct any issues that were there before. So microneedling is known as a semi-permanent procedure, meaning it is not permanent. You will have to redo this probably in the future as well. It can be used at home with a respective treatment, and it can also be used in a medical office setting where it's a little bit stronger. They have different machines that can go deeper for more severe types of scarring. Who should get microneedling? If you have any kind of acne scars, fine lines, some hyperpigmentation, you are a good candidate. However, you cannot do microneedling if you have a lot of skin tags in certain areas, if you have rosacea, if you are taking medication that causes thinning of the blood. You kind of want to stay away from any of those stronger medications such as blood thinners from Tylenol. Omega-3s can make your blood thinner, and as well as other stronger medications for health problems. That is something that you want to look into to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself if you do this procedure, if you decide to do this procedure at home. You should not do microneedling if you have very aggressive acne at the moment, which is really inflamed and infected. So we want to avoid any of those. Any broken areas on the skin, like cuts or nicks, just avoid those areas as well. We don't want to cause any of the infected acne to spread to other areas. So we want to make sure. Now, if you have like congested skin, like I'm sure I have some blackheads in here, it's fine. I did have like a cystic acne kind of sprout over here a week ago, but it already healed up. I will go over microneedling in that area today as well. Now, it is not active acne. So active acne is when it's inflamed, you have pustules, it hurts, it's spreading. We want to make sure that's calmed down. This treatment is more for post-treatment of skin problems that have caused scarring. If you are doing topical treatments such as AHAs, BHAs, retinols, tretinoin, Accutane, do not do microneedling. It is a contraindication. Just don't do it. If you have skin tags, avoid the areas with the skin tags. So just keep those in mind, and please listen, rewatch this, and I will post notes in the description down below to make sure that you are advised on the contraindications as to getting microneedling. Don't do microneedling after a fresh lip wax, fresh exfoliated skin. A big no. This is going to have its own exfoliating properties with it as well. What to use when you're microneedling? You want to use a very simple product. 1 ingredient, 2 most. There are tons of serums you could use out there that are good. Avoid vitamin C. That's more for nanoneedling, not so much microneedling. The one I'm going to use today is the same I used in the first video because it is good. It's a singular ingredient, just hyaluronic acid, and that's what you want to use. Less is more. Avoid using any kind of other serums because you don't know what other things they have blended in there, whether it's alcohol or even maybe an exfoliator you're not aware about. You want to make sure that your skin if you do react, you know exactly to what it's reacting. But the safest bet is hyaluronic acid. They will use this in a professional setting as well. And it came highly recommended by another master esthetician on YouTube. I will tag her down below as well. And I've tagged her in the first video because she has great information. But yeah, this is a great serum that I continue to use to this day. Now remember, this is a home tutorial. The other one was meant for like a little bit of both worlds. So this one is specifically meant you can do at home. So I'm gonna make sure it's the safest one you can use at home. So I'm going to be using Dr. Pen. I did use this in my last video. It is the one I've had for a couple years and it works great. It does just what you need and it only goes to a certain depth. So you're pretty safe. I don't even use the deepest depth on here. It's not necessary. You can still get great results even at a lesser depth. You really don't want to go too deep with any kind of microneedling. Even in an office setting, they'll probably start you out at a shallow depth and then work their way up as you go through treatments. Usually treatments will be in a series of 10. How often should you microneedle? You should not microneedle every single week. Please just don't do that. 6 weeks is kind of the perfect number to if you're going to plan on doing microneedling again. I've even stretched it out further because I just had so many, I was, you know, doing all kinds of things with my skin. So 6 weeks is the number you want to look for. Don't do this every week, every month. Let your skin fully heal from the trauma that was caused. If I missed any questions, please make sure you comment down below. I'm going to try to put as many notes as I can in the description box so that you can reread that if you need to refer back to this video. I will include a video after my treatment, after a few days have gone by, so you can see how my skin is doing. Without further ado, let's look at my skin. Again, it's been over 6 months since I've done my last microneedling session, which is enough time for my skin to get jacked up again. Stress, very dry skin. It is very cold. I'm not used to this cold weather. So my skin right now is very, very dry. So I'm hoping that's why I want to do microneedling. I want better absorption with my products, which is another thing that it helps with. So as you can see, my face is a little, it's dull. She's dull. I got some fine lines coming back here. I did get Botox once here. I don't feel like it helped that much. I feel like it helped a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. I was still able to kind of wrinkle my forehead, so I don't think I got enough. So now, as you can see, I'm like really close to the camera. As close as I can get, because someone bothered me in the comments and said I had perfect skin, which is a complete lie. But look, I have texture, I have large pores. Hyperpigmentation has showed up on like this part of my cheek, and I have a theory on that as well, as to diet related. So again, if you want me to make a video on that, like how I treat that, let me know. But this is where this side of my face, which is the left side, has the most scarring. This is the side where I just used to break out all the time, and it's probably because I sleep on this side the most. But in my temples, this is where I have heavy scarring. So you can see this is a birthmark. This is not hyperpigmentation. This is actually a birthmark. This right here is hyperpigmentation. Okay, so the other side, I do have some hyperpigmentation. I did have a pimple here last week and I left a nice brown spot. And I have some large pores here, but not as bad as the other side. Fine lines. I'm in my 30s, by the way, so I'm just now noticing all the smiles and frowning I've done in my 20s. And I have hyperpigmentation here. I used to get eczema really bad here around my chin and mouth, but no. So we're gonna try to treat that today. Now it's time for the actual microneedling process. I'm going to go ahead and start with my forehead. I like to divide it up into sections of 3 for each face part. So you can see how I'm holding the Dr. Pen. It's perfectly perpendicular to my skin. I'm gently pressing it on my skin, not pressing too hard. This is a relatively low setting, but you can even start lower than this if you're a beginner. I'm used to getting microneedling, so I don't really feel it as much. You will also notice I did not prep the skin with any numbing cream or solution. I'm not a fan of those. I don't try to go too deep to where I need those. I'll leave those for a medical setting. You shouldn't be going too deep where you're in a lot of pain anyways at home. Save that for the professionals. There is a reason behind it. We see a lot of videos out there with really bloody faces and lots of aggressive needling, and that's actually not the right way to do it. That is exactly how you get hurt and mess up your skin. So this is much more of a gentle form you can do at home, and you will still see benefits to microneedling even if it's a shallow depth. If you're just starting microneedling, please start from the bottom up. Don't try to go too aggressive and get quick results. That is not what it's meant for. It's meant for a series so that you can treat your skin slowly. Your skin does heal slowly and builds collagen slowly, so treat it as such with respect. Now you can see I'm moving to the center of my forehead here where I have some deeper lines. Now I am going, you can see I'm going vertical and horizontal several times just because this area is really much more wrinkled than any other part of my forehead. And I did about four passes on those brow furrow lines in between. And I'm making sure you'll see me throughout the whole process, just constantly reapply serum and making sure there's enough lubrication. You do not want needles to drag on dry skin. It is not recommended. And you can see I'm doing my vertical lines as well. This is the second section of the forehead. And it's good to stay relatively organized so that you know where you passed already. And you can see I'm not bleeding, I'm not turning really red, and that is normal as well. Some people turn pink very quickly, so if you are of a lighter complexion, this may happen to you where you turn a lot lighter, a lot more pink or red. It is normal, but not so red where you're bleeding and very aggressive. That's just not how it goes. You can also do less passes so that you don't get such an aggressive result. So you can do 1 to 2 passes instead of 3 or 4. Again, my skin is very used to this. I do not bruise, I do not bleed, I don't take any medication or blood thinners. My skin has been through a lot and several series of microneedling, so it does not affect me very much. So we're going to move on to the side of the face. You can see how easy that was for the forehead. And I am going to adjust the Dr. Pen since I do have more scarring on the sides of my face. That's where I had more acne when I was younger. And I'm just going to go to 2.5. You can go less than this. Please go less than this if you are a beginner. You can even do a 1 on the cheeks or 0.75. So you can go much less than this. Start from the smaller end right before 1.0. As you do more sessions, you can slightly adjust. Now I'm doing the same thing, kind of what I did the forehead, where I kind of split it up into sections. You can see I'm starting like closest to the nose, and I'm being more horizontal strokes on those lines by my nose from smiling. And you can see I'm starting with the first section. And I'm doing horizontal strokes. You can start vertical strokes if you like. You can start horizontal. It's up to you. This is just kind of like the routine I have, and this is what I used to do as well for clients. Now let's move to the middle part of the cheek, making sure everything has a nice glide to it. I constantly check with my finger. And this is a sped up version, of course, so I mean it takes a while to do this to your skin. Take your time. Rather take your time than do it right instead of hurting your skin by rushing through. And I noticed my serum started to get like a little bit of white and a little thicker. And I do think that's like extra dead skin. My skin was dry and flaky. And I think really now, even during the process, it's starting to come up. And I always get flaking kind of right after, like a day or two after microneedling, and it goes away. But I've had dry skin since it's just been so cold here in Georgia. And I'm going a little bit by the ear. I only did like a couple passes there. Sometimes I get a breakout there, so I'll just go ahead and pass while it's okay. Now I'm going in with some vertical movements. And you can pick up your Dr. Pen. I'm kind of doing it the way I would think someone would do it at home. So you can see I'm just gliding back and forth. I don't even bother picking it up in this area. And I'm going to go in with another pass. Now I do about 3 or 4 passes on the cheek just because it is more scarred than other areas. This is the left side I was telling you about, where it's a little bit more scarring and I had more breakouts. You know, I never had breakouts or any kind of skin problems until I got pregnant with my kids, of course, and that was many years ago. So this is just old scarring. So I don't expect it to be completely healed. Usually scars, the older you let them kind of sit, it is harder to kind of get rid of. So if you have like fresh scarring, you know, and it's been a couple years, you probably have a better chance of clearing them up relatively close to like just really good skin. But yeah, this is pretty deep scarring. I have no expectation of it being completely flat and perfect. There's just no way, but I've noticed a great reduction in pore size and scarring, and even frequency of breakouts has improved. Moving along here to the left side, I'm going ahead and putting plenty of serum. What's nice about this serum as well is that it's not very expensive, so I get to use all that I want, really. So you can use expensive serums if you like. I mean, I'm sure SkinCeuticals has a hyaluronic acid, so does The Ordinary. There are tons of brands out there that will have what you need at really good price, but the best option is for a singular ingredient while microneedling. I've gotten in the comments before that people asked if they could use oil. Please do not use oil in this process, especially if you're more prone to acne breakouts. Just don't use oil. It's not meant for microneedling. I'm just following suit with the other side. This side I did have a little breakout. You can see kind of the hyperpigmentation on my upper cheek. I always get it there. I think it's because I always remove my glasses and I always touch that part of my face. But this will definitely help with that scarring and just help it finish healing. I didn't do this obviously when I had the breakout initially, so I waited about a week before I could microneedling until that acne started to dry up. What's really nice about this Dr. Pen is that it is cordless and it has a couple backup batteries, which is nice. So it's really just a nice product to use at home, and even in a small practice, it's really nice if your state allows you to practice this. Now you'll see I'm doing a different pattern on my cheeks. This is just a circular motion that you can do. I'm just making sure that I cover every square inch of where my scarring is, and it is very safe to do. I'm not going too deep either. And I'm just making sure that my pen is still very perpendicular. So I'm moving my hand and my arm around to make sure that it stays very straight to my skin. Moving on to the central part of the face where your nose and chin are. I do have like a wrinkle on my nose. I'm terrified to get filler there. If you want me to do a video on why, I can, but it's scary. But I'm going to start with my smile lines, and I'm going to do some circles as well. It's very safe to do here. It is also safe to microneedle on a low setting on your lips as well, where you get wrinkles around your mouth, and even just kind of help moisturize them as well if you have really dry lips. Just make sure your lips are not cracked, and then you're good to go. But I am paying some extra attention here on my smile lines. I definitely noticed they've gotten a lot bigger, and I do smile a lot and make a lot of facial expressions in my daily life. So, and I also sleep on the side of my face, which I think that also contributes to that as well. And now time for the chin. You can see I'm closing my mouth to make my skin nice and taut, and that just helps so that you don't drag your pen and it keeps skin out of the way. And you just kind of want to do that, just kind of help aid the pen and get in there a little bit better in those creases. Now technically you could take this down to your neck area. I have eczema on my neck, so I'm going to avoid that area. And even though it would be beneficial because I do have some discoloration, you can see it. But let's move on to the lips. You can see I'm going around the lips here. And this does not hurt. This does not hurt me. I moved it back down to a really low setting for around my lip area because lips tend to be a little bit more sensitive. So keep that in mind. You can adjust throughout your microneedling process and just make it more comfortable for you. Now, if you're numb, then you probably won't have any problems with this at all. But yeah, I didn't feel anything going over there. Now we're going to focus on this one wrinkle I have here on my nose, and I'm pretty sure it's because I sleep on it or something. I don't know, but it's just getting older, guys. And I'm going to do, you can see I adjusted it back to 1.0 for my nose, the central part of my face, really. I did that whole section with 1.0. And I'm just going to gently kind of go around my nose. This does help with kind of any congestion and blackheads and blockages. Now that pretty much concludes the actual procedure. I'm just going to apply some more hyaluronic acid, and then tonight I'm just going to rinse with water and not apply any cream or anything. I'm just going to apply serum. I might feel a little dry and tight and a little bit more like a sunburn, but it will go away in a few days. I just want to use a really light moisturizer for the next few days. And you can see right after the treatment it looks really good, like really bright. I feel like it exfoliated really well. And this is some post-care stuff I decided to use, and this is, like I said, you don't have to use like professional products. This is actually a nice one. Come by an esthetician. You can get it at Ulta, and I'll link it down below for you. And this is my skin before, and we can remember it was very textured and dark, especially in that cheek area, and even like my chin area. You can see like it's very textured. This is already a clip in the beginning of the video. Even my forehead looked kind of crepey and just really dull. Now, this is 3 days after the microneedling, and I'm very happy with the results. And remember, it's going to continue to get better as the next few weeks continue. And you can see like it's still brighter, and the most significant part is the smoothness of my skin. It does feel different. It's very smooth, and like even my chin looks a lot brighter still. Like right after the treatment, it was pretty bright, but it still looks pretty bright. And look at my forehead. It's like not even moving, and that's where we really focused. If you liked what you saw today, make sure you subscribe and help this channel grow. Until next time, guys. Bye.